there we go. We are actually live. Nomadex community, Facebook fam, everyone is out there. I'm super nervous right now. I've been thinking about that intro kind of like for the last 24 hours.
No.
I don't know how to do it, but we're here with a guy I appreciate so much because I just recently learned about him. I was like, over the last few weeks, I was like super stoked because we're gonna welcome Gary Vaynerchuk in like 2 weeks on the stream. So I was like all about Gary Vee, but then Rob Frohwein dropped in and I was like, oh my gosh, we got so many celebrities in here. So in this case, he's a legend. He does so many cool things and he is actually doing so many beneficial things to small businesses. And besides that, that's just one thing I have to mention. His last name, because I am German, means happy wine. That's just like that's just like super cool because afterwards we're gonna have Gary Vaynerchuk to build a business out of the wine library. So it feels like that all things are coming together. So Rob, I'm just like super stoked to have you here today. Thank you very much for taking the next 15 minutes to talking to us. Welcome to the show.
Well, look, I'm thrilled to be here. Excited you guys asked me, and I'd say let's have fun. I'm all ready.
Awesome, bro. Let's do it. I'm super stoked to have you on the stream. We want to make sure that's not me talking too much because that's sometimes what's happening. So just to start with, Rob, can you give us an introduction about yourself, who you are, what's your mission, what's your vision, and what can we expect from the next 10 to 15 minutes with you?
Great. Well, look, Rob co-founded a company called Kabbage. Based in the US, based in Atlanta with a couple of co-founders, really focused on small businesses and helping them with cash flow. Obviously, constituency out there that has been absolutely hammered in connection with the crisis. We started the company based on a technology idea, how to actually get better access to data to initially provide working capital or loans to these small businesses. Over time, a couple of things happened. We expanded the mission to also include other products and services that really help small businesses manage cash flow, like payments, checking, an insights dashboard that helps them predict exactly when cash flow is going to be tight. So we've built all of those products really focused on small businesses. My co-founder, Catherine, and I have also, over the last couple of years, started another company called Drum. We've got a couple of products launching right now in the App Store for that. But that, Kabbage is driving hard now, has served about 450,000 small businesses in the U.S. now, and looking forward to growing that over the next several years.
Wow, that's like simply amazing. I was reading through all the articles in Forbes, TechCrunch, and seeing what you guys are doing. There's like 7 billion in loans to small businesses over the last 10 years. It was like my mind was blown. But I have one question for you, and that question really came to my mind, and I want to ask that as the first question. Kabbage. How the fuck is it possible that you call your company Kabbage and giving small loans to businesses? I want to know about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's actually a really good question. So the name Kabbage really came up with after my co-founders and I basically were sitting in a bar over several nights trying to come up with a name. Every single domain was taken. We knew we wanted something different. We knew we wanted something that related to capital or cash, but we didn't want to call it that. We thought every name that has money, capital, funding, lending, cash, whatever, totally boring. And there's a word from that was slang from the early 1900s for cash, which is cabbage. So that's how we came up with the name. Kabbage with a K, which is how you spell it, Kabbage. .com was $1,200. Kabbage with the C was $75,000. So that's why we went with the one with the K initially.
I love it, man. I love it. That's a perfect explanation. I was literally just super wondering about how the hell, and then I found that picture of you like holding a cabbage. Is like, how is that going? That's like super cool. Freaking fucking love it, bro. absolutely amazing. So Kabbage was built, and what was the idea behind? How did you guys came up to do something like that?
Yeah, it was, look, it was, I actually had come up with the idea. I like doing this so I love brainstorming, and I know you have a lot of, entrepreneurs at different stages of where they are. And, one of the best ways I look for inspiration, I look at different things. Like I said, what if one company were to buy another company? What would they do with it? What if eBay at the time, which was actually a legit big company at that point, was to buy a credit company? What would they do with it? And I thought, hey, they'd provide capital to the sellers that sell online. And by the way, you can get API access to the data related to those sellers' transactions online. So why not give small businesses a way to connect their data? Much like you log in using Facebook credentials to some third-party site, you basically log in all the key data sources that relate to how you run your business. We pull down that data automatically. We verify your identity. We underwrite you, and we provide you with a loan. But now we've transferred that and accelerated that into all these other products. And a lot of that was about building a brand. So we've worked hard in the U.S. to make Kabbage kind of a household name among small businesses. That was really important to us.
Awesome.
Cool.
It makes so much sense. And how long ago was that?
That was so I came up with the idea in 2007, started working on it late 2008, right in the middle of the global financial crisis. And we really started lending actually not till we tested it in 2010, and we really launched it in 2011. So, it was taking a while to actually build technology, and I came from a totally different space. And it's one of the things that I think is so important as an entrepreneur, that you actually bring different ideas and experiences. Maybe not everybody on the founding team, but you've got to combine some subject matter expertise and combine it with people who have seen things done differently in other areas, and that to me was super, super important.
Right. And it makes totally sense. And it feels like, especially for the situation we're facing now, it seems like you guys are more important than ever, right?
Well, when the crisis really hit, and in the U.S. it really hit mid-March, I have to tell you, that was like the most stressful time of my entire professional life. I had probably I had a couple other more stressful times on the personal side, but
Yeah.
it was like literally, I remember I was talking with the doctor, and he's like, "Hey, can you take your blood pressure?" And I was like, "Sure." My resting pulse was 133, right in the middle of the crisis. And he's like, "Yeah, we got to do something about that." Like literally everything was on the line every single day. And so what we did in the US, they launched a program called Paycheck Protection Program. And we turned our attention from, at least on the lending side, from what we were doing before, which was providing lines of credits, to really being a lender through this government program. And what's been amazing is my whole team dove into it, as hard as they possibly could. And we've now become the third largest provider of these loans in the U.S. behind J.P. Morgan and Bank of America. We're the third largest, ahead of Wells Fargo, which is a huge bank. And we've helped now about 215,000 small businesses get access to government funding through this program. And we're one of the few lenders that continues to do this program at volume. And that's to the tune of about 6 billion. So when you mentioned mentioned 7 billion before, that number had been a little bit old before the crisis struck. We just passed 15 billion in funds delivered, and we're also got all these other products that we're launching. So it's been we put more capital out this year. If you combine it with what we did earlier this year, we put out about $6.7 billion this year. All of last year we put out 2.8. Year before that, a couple billion. Year before that, 1.5. We've done 3 years worth of volume in 3 months. It's absolute insanity, but it's one of the greatest things that I've ever been a part of in my life, for sure.
Yeah. So wow. I'm just like because I'm always saying, like, we're doing these interviews freestyle because I don't prepare questions. Right now, I wish I would have prepare the next question because I feel like I need to breathe and digest about what you just said. That is simply amazing. This is like wow. So Rob, can we dig a little bit? I want to dig a little bit deeper on that. How do you do it? How do you make that even possible?
I think it's a combination of things. One is, and I think this is just the mantra for this crisis, which is, I think you have to work harder and you have to be more creative than ever right now. So in order to stand up a program like that, we had to get, capital, we had to get bank partnerships, we had to build technology, we had to partner with others for different parts of the solution. So we had, so we had different parts for reading literally millions of documents that were coming in from people who were submitting them. And, my direction to the team, and they were doing this anyway, was no single thread down any one path. Like have 5 different parallel efforts until until one works. And then even when one works, assume it's going to go away and there's going to be a problem with it and put a second one in place. Let's take the chance to go down multiple paths with this program, however we possibly can. And we saw a lot of companies out there that really single threaded. I won't go into names, but there's a well-known European small business lender who basically went down one path for capital, and that capital source disappeared. So they had no other opportunity, and they ended up not really participating in this program, which this program, frankly, it was a huge boon to us. We brought on, hundreds of thousands of customers we never had before. We've saved 750,000 jobs in the U.S. through this program, and we've actually generated a fairly large amount of revenue, which is obviously vital to the company and our hundreds of employees. So that's super important. So I just think keep working your ass off, keep being creative. Don't assume that anything you're doing today or anything you did yesterday is going to work tomorrow. It may not, it probably won't. Just keep, pushing forward.
I love it. And sorry, keep going.
No, there's really, it sounds almost like very commonplace advice, but you literally, I've always said that, but it was probably 3 times the work in order to make this happen. And by the way, it doesn't stop, right? So, I had my team, we started these meetings where I got the 12 people who were really driving this internally with me. And we were meeting 3 times a day, 11 a.m., 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. at night, and just knocking down issue after issue after issue, 7 days a week. It wasn't 5 days a week. It wasn't, only a couple meetings, a couple of the days. It was 3 meetings a day, 7 days a week, and we were driving it forward. And we were really mad about it.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. I love the mindset, and I love how you're putting it out there. And I think that's exactly what makes a difference. What does it take for me as a small business owner to get a loan from you? How do you judge people down the road?
Yeah, so first of all, Kabbage.com is the website, and obviously we've expanded beyond just lending, so we also have other. We basically offer all the services that a PayPal or a Square would offer. So we basically have all the services bundled together. You go to Kabbage.com. Right now, we're very on the lending side, which is one of our core lines of business. On the lending side, we're very focused on the government lending because they put together a $669 billion package. All of Fintech last year, all of Fintech did 10 billion. So when you have like $670 billion available, you focus on that. So that's what we're focused on right now. There's probably going to be more relief. Kabbage is a great resource for that. The other thing we did, and you had mentioned it to me before we went on, is we launched a website called helpsmallbusiness.com. We did that right in mid-March when the crisis first struck. And it basically allows any business to register to sell e-gift certificates. Most small businesses don't sell gift certificates, but they really need to generate cash now, rather, because this is when they're hurting, and they'll provide the service tomorrow. So this allows anybody to register to sell them, and for anybody to come and buy a gift certificate from a participating business. And again, it's really just another way, and Kabbage is not charging anything for that. There are some other, like the networks and stuff that charge some fees for that, but our fee is completely waived in connection with that program. And that's been a huge success. Facebook is a huge promoter of helpsmallbusiness.com. And again, it was just a Saturday afternoon sitting on a couch trying to figure out what can we do to help small businesses. And then, I'm like a domain buyer. So I went and I negotiated to buy helpsmallbusiness.com. And we launched the site 3 days later. That was very cool. By the way, that was also a really good preface for what we did on the PPP loans, because we had 100 people in our team just get together over a 3-day period and put together this gift certificate website, which was incredibly, which really robust, really well done. And it really primed them for what we did with PPP. And that was a great thing too.
Awesome, bro. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That's like super, super, super inspiring. And again, congratulations to what you're doing and to the role you're playing out there. I think that's freaking fucking amazing. I'm absolutely loving it. I promised that we keep that down to 20 minutes. So I know you're a super busy man. I want to make sure we're not taking too much of your time. So turning it a little bit towards the end, let's go a little bit more towards what's the future about, because we're still facing that massive crisis. What's your forecast about the next 6-12 months for the small businesses out there? What are you going to say about that?
Look, no doubt it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough and very unpredictable, right? So that's the scary bad part of it. The good part about it is that I don't think any of us will ever witness a greater renaissance of creativity in small business than we're going to see over the next 6 to 12 months. With so many people's business, with them going out of business, you can look at it as a bad thing, and it's terrible, but it is a fresh start opportunity. So, those entrepreneurs are going to be going out. They're going to say, I did it one way before, I'm doing it a different way this time. And I think that's going to be really cool to see. That's part one. Part two, a lot of folks have lost jobs, which is tragic, and that's horrible. And it's going to take a little while for those jobs to sort of get soaked up again by the economy. And I think a lot of those folks are going to find new and innovative ways to earn revenue and generate new streams. So what I'm really excited about is to see the wave of entrepreneurship that happens across the world, across the globe over the next couple of years. And I literally want to just sort of sit back, pop some popcorn and watch it, because it's going to be so cool. And I would like to figure out how to participate, right? So I think it's if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you're inspired by the idea of starting something and building it, this is a great time. When everybody is running in one direction, run in the other direction. That's what I always believe. And so you have a lot of people who have a lot of fear right now about the economy. Well, that is true, and I get it. But we started this company, Kabbage, in the shadow of the global financial crisis. While everybody was looking one way, we were looking the other way. That's what you absolutely have to do. It's the survival instinct, and it's not just surviving; it's thriving. And everybody's got to have a will to thrive, not just survive. Wow. That's the key.
Wow. What I'm taking away from that is, like, if everyone runs in one direction, run in the other direction. Yeah. And I think that's another massive value bomb. So Facebook community, everyone who's out there, everyone who's watching and listening, we're having a decent amount of people dropping in and out of that live stream. And I know it's still early in Europe, but imagine it's way earlier for Rob, who is in the States. So if you are watching it and if you have questions, drop them in the comments, and we got a few decent things coming in right now, but we're going to make sure we're going to answer all of them later on or in between the next 24 hours. And if you're too shy to answer or to ask any questions, just at least drop a heart, drop a like, do something to show a little bit of love to what we just experienced here, because it's an amazing value bomb dropped by Rob over the last 20 minutes. So in this case, thank you very much, Rob. It was awesome to have you on that stream. And I'm just like super stoked to keep watching you and to keep following you.
Well, look, I appreciate it. Same back to you, and same back to the community. I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody has to offer. So just make it happen. That's the way to do it.
I think what you just said before, it is the time for entrepreneurship. Don't be scared, make a difference, and follow the advices of people who are already made it, like Rob himself. So Rob, thank you so much again for being such an inspiration, for doing what you're doing and helping all these people out there. I think it's amazing. I don't know what's the right word, because thank you doesn't seem enough, but I'm just like super honored and privileged to have you on here. So
well, thank you for having me.
I'm
honored and privileged to be on. And good luck
awesome.
to you. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rob.
Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.